One of the most infamous things found in the Bocchi the Rock fandom is the act of shipping characters. We all know the classics such as BoKita, BoNiji, NijiRyo, so on and so forth, which is not surprising as most anime featuring an all-girls cast have a chance to become the subject of endless yuri art. Oh god, save us all. With that, a random guy from the internet sacrificed his eyes visiting this infamous website to rank all of the available Bocchi the Rock ships found there. Let's start with BoRyo, or is it Bocchi? The ship between Hitori Goto and Yamada. Right away, what sets this dynamic apart from the rest is how these two represent most of the anime viewing population. In other words, they're so damn relatable! Actually, we're not certain which one represents the population more. Some say Ryo is more relatable, while others point at her TVs and scream, "She's just like me for real!" whenever Bocchi does a Bocchi thing. With that said, the dynamic of these two are one of the two cry types. They are different, of course, as Bocchi is socially anxious while Ryo, as an introvert, doesn't give a shite and can be on our own. But in many real-life friendships and bonds, seeing two introverts becoming best of buddies is a common sight. Ryo and Bocchi's friendship is very close, almost to the point they can read each other's minds. Though most of their moments are for the gags and comedic relief, in the few times where things get serious, we see a side of Ryo that is understanding and supportive for the pink creature as pointed out by this Reddit comment. And let's not forget that we get to have the best quotes from this show thanks to the bond between the broke bassist and the guitar hero. My only problem is Bocchi's financial future with her. Run, Bocchi! But all in all, a solid friendship between the relatable ones. A straightforward A tier. Up next is the behemoth that is NijiRyo. Since it involves my wife, the goddess herself, I'll try my best not to be biased. Okay, it will be biased. This is one of the more popular ships, if I'm not mistaken. The third behind the two flagships where fandoms duke it out on which is more superior. Its popularity stems from the sole fact that Nijika and Ryo have known each other for so long that their hearts been aching, but their whoops. That was a roll. Sorry, not sorry. This long friendship of theirs enables them to show a side to each other that is not seen with others. For Ryo, her true blunt and money-sucking side, and for Nijika, her mini tsundere tendencies. Other than that, if we use their role in Kessoku-ban, it is established knowledge that the bassist and drummer are very close. Like, it's part of the rulebook that they should be gay. Wait, what? But a detail that is not discussed much is how we can see Nijika's potential behavior if she were to date a guy, given how tomboyish Ryo is as a character. We see a side of Nijika that is usually seen with an established couple. Oh, you think that was crazy? My friends, this video is already crazy to begin with. So with that, it's a no-brainer that even if they remain as best friends for life, they have all the ingredients for a solid couple. Drumroll please. Yup. ST. And now we have our first questionable ship, Bocchi and Seika. Now I have no idea how this became a thing, but shippers will defend this with the fact that later on in the manga, it seems that Seika has a great appreciation for Bocchi. Like she becomes too obsessed on her. Though I will admit that the moments between Bocchi and Seika can be cute and wholesome, let's be honest with ourselves, it's not going to work out. And not just because of the age gap. Even if Seika greatly admires Bocchi, I think of that admiration as Seika being reminded of her past when she too was rocking out on stage as a guitarist. So Seika admiring and being nice and caring to Bocchi is like her treating her past self and guiding her in each move. And Seika might be too much for Bocchi. I mean, she still freaks out over the slightest tsundere tendencies Seika gives out. But I digress that this is just me overanalyzing a ship. A bloody ship where we all know is for the funsies. So to the vocal minority of Bocchi x Seika shippers out there, I respect your viewpoint and hope that you respect mine. But I cannot rank the ship any higher than B tier. Oh, we're just getting started. Now this we know is a solid dynamic. To those unaware, Kikuri is practically Bocchi if she is sober. Like they're literally the same. Literally the same! The only difference is the darker shade of pink over hair and her sharp teeth. But to clarify, Kikuri is the older version of Bocchi and thus acts as an older sister figure to her. With that said, as any older sister figure, Kikuri is an instrumental person to Bocchi's growth as a person. Case in point, the entirety of episode 6, which I delve further in Bocchi's character analysis that you can check out here. And while you're at it, consider subbing to the channel. Practically all the advice Kikuri gives out are perfect and what Bocchi needs at the moments where she gives them out. Bocchi can practically follow every single thing Kikuri tells her to do. Except alcohol. Bocchi, drink responsibly. There's nothing more to elaborate on why this dynamic is amazing as it is. But I cannot support the idea that they can be a couple. Bocchi deserves better, fam. So, a simple A tier. Oh no, God no, this is freaking incest. But if we take out the romantic context, them as sisters kinda reminds me of the dynamic I have with my younger brother. You know, being a menace and saying things that give critical damage. This is one of two sibling dynamics found in the anime and have been purified. Why? And they're written very realistically and what you would expect most siblings to behave with one another. But for the love of God, as a ship? No, that's an F tier. To cleanse yourselves, let us talk about Seika and Kikuri. This ship actually is a parallel to the second most popular ship of the fandom. With what I have heard of, Seika not only became the shining light to her sister's dream, but to Kikuri as well when they were in college. HG sister supremacy! But beyond that, these two are just a blast on screen. You know for a fact that Seika has gotten used to the terrible smell of alcohol and having to carry Kikuri around. Despite Seika being pissed off most of the time with her, you can tell that they are good friends and that there's no filter between them. They might also work out in the romantic context, though I have no idea if Seika would be interested in wasting her money on buying sake every day. But it just worked. No complaints, no major issues. The ship can set the Caesar, please! Wait, wrong bid. A solid A tier for Seika and Kikuri. In a similar vein to BoRyo, we have NijKita, where it involves the two extroverts of Kessoku-ban. Well, one true extrovert. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this is the third time of me saying that their dynamic is the most platonic and most straightforward of the entire show. I think this stems from the fact that we had only a few moments where Kita and Nijika properly interacted. I'm hoping that the inevitable season 2 will lead to more moments between them. But with the information we have so far, they still call each other by their last names by episode 12, and though the same energy, their conversations are surface level. Another aspect I want to highlight is that I see no areas of growth between the two. A key detail of a good relationship is that both parties can help each other grow. We know for a fact who the most influential person in Kita's growth is, and Nijika has her older sister. Therefore, there is little room for these two characters to help one another. Although I am only working with season 1 material, this detail is subject to change. Thus, NijKita, no matter how hard you push it, is stuck at D tier. Now will Ryo and Kita join NijiKita? Not quite, as their dynamic is a well-known trope where one party is heavily obsessed with the other in an almost toxic way. This obsession of Kita for Ryo was instrumental for her development. Kindly watch our analysis here. So this ship has a chance to perform better than NijKita, but it shares the same shortcomings as the interactions is literally Kita gushing and praising Ryo, and Ryo dropping the first name in a sadistic way. So I would love for Ryo and Kita to be more real with one another than this superficial nonsense. There was one fan manga on Dynasty Reader that almost made me consider placing the ship even higher. It was well made and suggested that Ryo appreciates being crushed on and would dearly miss it if, for some odd reason, Kita stopped crushing on her. But then again, that's just a fan manga. With that said, I think I can give the ship a better standing by placing it on C tier. Bruh. Okay, in all seriousness, I do get why this is a thing. You know, why not everyone instead? But this is just common for this genre of anime where their fandom goes nuts and forces all of the girls to be together. Similar to how many desire a harem ending in the harem genre. Looking at you, Rentero. However, I highly doubt this would ever work out. I can see so many flaws and issues with this ship. In other words, too insane! But if you support this, you do you. But I am not endorsing this if we were serious. So, E tier. Honestly, why is this even a thing here? You guys are seriously down bad. But of course, anything can be shipped like Bocchi with Jimmy. Why? What? But ignoring the worst creation of humanity that is both an anime and manga, this is just a ship for the sake of being a ship. I got no comment, got nothing to assess, so instant F tier. Okay, I'm placing this on F tier as well. Calm down. Let me go. I'm only placing this on F tier for the reason we do not have enough material between Bocchi and PA-san. In fact, she only has 6+ minutes of screen time in the entirety of season 1. Though if you read Flying Beyond Shattered Seas, a fantastic fanfic, you'll know that these two characters had a lot of interactions. However, we'll only focus on the anime for this discussion. Based on the anime alone, I don't have enough data to work with, so they are in F tier until further notice. I think this is the only PA-san ship that has a chance. Because in her limited screen time, it's mostly interactions between her and Seika. Similarly with Kikuri to Seika, PA-san has a fantastic chemistry with Seika. PA-san can act as the translator and helper whenever Seika becomes too cindery beyond human comprehension. She can also play around with her and make Seika extremely cute, showing a level of intimacy between the manager and the sound engineer. PA-san just knows Seika on a deep level. She's always spot on knowing Seika's true intentions, like seen in episode 5, and they're always together. Like, come on, it's always them side by side. My only issue is PA-san's mysteriousness. We don't even know her real name, for heaven's sake. I would love to see the real PA-san and her true relationship with Seika, but they're good. Like, very, very solid. A confident A tier. Oh, come on, all the humanity! In a similar vein with Bocchi, so another F tier until further notice. This is legit a crime to read to incest. Are you for real? If we are to ignore the romantic shipping for these two, we know for a fact that the relationship between the Ichi sisters is 5-star in your gacha full of sibling dynamics. If you want to understand why they have the best sisterly bond, check out this video. But to summarize, they support one another in their everyday lives and in each other's dreams. Basically, they're unaware, but their dreams are meant for each other, which is just wholesome and sweet and all. Yes, they fight and argue a lot, but that's difficult between siblings. But they always make up after each conflict and deep down want the best for each other. In a non-romantic setting, they're S tier. But we have to recognize some people out there are still shipping these two in the most deranged ways. So, still F tier. Well, here we are. The flagship. The frontliner. The very first thing people think when it comes to Bocchi the Rock ships. BoKita. Whether you like it or not, you cannot deny how amazing this dynamic is as a whole. In fact, an entire analysis can be made just discussing how OP they are. No, that's not a BoKita bit. Maybe. But to condense it all down, Bocchi and Kita are the perfect opposite sides of the same coin. It's amazing that despite how opposite they are, they work so perfectly together. Like, they were made for each other. Even without the romance, they work so perfectly and are unexpected best friends. I also hate to admit it, but my favorite Kessoku band song, If I Could Be a Constellation, can't be interpreted as a BoKita song. No other ship has this insane buff. So obviously, an absolute no-brainer, I will get murdered if I place this any lower. BoKita is S tier. This is biased, but yes, this is my personal favorite ship out of all of the ships in the show. I can yap for endless hours by how much I love BoNiji with all of my heart in either a romantic or platonic setting, but I want to focus on a detail of the premise of BoNiji. I am a huge sucker for plots where someone magically appears in your life and changes you for the better. And we know for a fact, Nijika, the paragon of human virtue, caused fights with Bocchi and is the sole reason Bocchi became Bocchi the Rock. This plot is so common in the romance genre and for good reasons, because if executed right, it's utter perfection. And Bocchi the Rock masterfully executed this plot. I mean, just watch the first 8 episodes and you can mistake episode 8 as the finale, because it is the ending of the first volume of the manga. And another reason why I love this dynamic so much, because we all want a freaking Nijika to come into our lives and lead us into something amazing. Nijika asan ka na ba? It's perfection. S tier. But wait! A last-minute challenger has appeared! You know, in my Nijika character analysis, there's a part I had to admit because it was a bit too insane. But here, I can finally disclose the fact that I have realized that Nijika is literally me for real for real. Oh, I can make a 6-hour video, don't take that seriously, where I can compare myself to what Nijika does and state how it's exactly the same as what I do. I am confident that we share a 90% compatibility. I'm serious. I'm certain that I can be either the best damn husband she is to marry or her best friend for life. Look, I'm desperate to have any relationship with Nijika. But both me and Nijika are the type of people who put on the top facade and rarely open up to be vulnerable. I'm the eldest sibling and she's the youngest, meaning I can comfort her the same way Nijika does to her. Both me and Nijika don't want to be the center of attention and always get flustered when it's about us. Me and Nijika are kinda good at drawing. We don't like to be complimented by others. I want to stay humble and strive not to be prideful. Me and Nijika don't like to be teased. Me and Nijika like to stay at home all day. Me and Nijika approaches art distant intervention. Me and Nijika sometimes say things that we don't want to admit ourselves. This is but the tip of the iceberg of all the details I discovered of me being exact like her. You may argue though that someone who is exactly like you might not work out, but she's way more outgoing and confident than I am. And I can barely cook. I'm literally just Bocchi and Ryo combined. And who were the S tiers earlier? That's right. Both ships involving Bocchi, Ryo, and Nijika. And thus the ship between a person who is both Ryo and Bocchi with Nijika is S. And no one supported that. Okay, to wrap things up, this video at the end of the day is just for fun and entertainment. Please don't take anything seriously here. But I'm quite amazed by the amount of effort people have put into these ships. I stumbled into a lot of good fun manga with that I will link in the description below. For something as trivial as shipping, it just shows how much people love the show to death that they went insane into shipping anyone, making sweet wholesome art, and bleaching my eyes. I'm never going to visit this website ever again. Feel free to disagree with my rankings and comment down below how you would rank these ships and even ships I didn't mention, like the one with the dog. Oh, the humanity. If you enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend watching my analysis of the characters individually. Choose any one of these videos. I personally recommend the Nijika one. It's peak. Okay, off I go. Bye!